Welcome back, legends. I hope you're all amazing. On today's video, I want to take the time to address a single question that I got on my last Q&A video. I talked about vintage gear that has absolutely ridiculous prices these days. And this question popped up, basically saying, can I do a video talking about amazing pieces of gear or manufacturers or brands that maybe no one knows about? And I would love to do that. So I'm going to do the whole video today on 5 different pieces of gear from smaller manufacturers that I absolutely love that you may not have heard about. Let's get straight into it. First up is an electric guitar you may not have heard of, although if you've been watching my channel for the last few years or you've come to a ragdoll show recently, you definitely would have seen it and heard it. It's the Rubato Guitars Lassie. Carbon fiber body, incredibly thin and streamlined. There is a Richlite fretboard with 24 large stainless steel frets on there. It's incredibly easy to play. This is by far the most playable guitar that I own, and I own some amazing high-end PRS and vintage Gibson guitars that have been plecked and reworked. This is just on another level. The fact that you don't need a truss rod on this, it is set and forget, means that the action is just incredibly consistent across the guitar. They've got their pretty unique 0 fret and string guide on here, which I'm really into. It just makes, again, the action really consistent all over the fretboard. Porter humbucking pickups with the Freeway 6-way switch on here, so you can get a variety of different humbucker, single coil, and mixed tones. And I can fly with this in a soft case. I've done a lot of fly dates this year. Ragdoll were out in the Goldfields in Western Australia. We did a festival over in Melbourne. We were over on Rottnest Island when it was like 43 degrees Celsius in the shade, and I played this guitar for all of that. I also used it as my main guitar for the Bernie Dieter Club Cabaret shows that I just did in New Zealand. Did 8 shows a week on this thing, 1 set of strings per week, and it was flawless. It's so well intoned. It's like the break glass in case of emergency guitar. I know it can do just about anything that I want. And furthermore, they are a small company. While it's a carbon fiber guitar, there is so much handwork involved in this, and they do make carbon fiber replacement necks that will fit on a traditional Strat style body. They also make a guitar called the Domino, which is essentially a carbon fiber neck on a more traditional Strat style body as well. I absolutely love this guitar. You should definitely check out Rubato if you're looking for a high-end instrument that is just a little bit different, and it still kind of looks like a traditional electric guitar. I'll put a link in the video description. Here's the solo for the Ragdoll song Sky's Limit, played on this guitar. We are coming across the Indian Ocean into Australia, and I'm going to talk about a company that, again, you may not have heard of, but if you're an effects junkie, I think you really need to check out. I'm talking about Past Effects, and I've demoed lots of their pedals. I would say their specialty is essentially modulation pedals, but they make a variety of different devices. They've got stuff like the New Division, which is a recreation of the Electro Harmonix clone theory. They make what may be my favorite modulation pedal ever, the Elastic Mattress, which is a real loving recreation of the old 18-volt electric Mistress. Amazing attention to detail, great prices. You've got vintage spec parts combined with modern day workmanship. You've kind of got a nice blend of old and new on there, where they're the classic designs. Again, there's that attention to detail in getting the components and the circuits right. Verley owns a lot of vintage pedals to use as benchmarks when dialing in these, but you've also got things like smaller enclosures, more convenient power supplies, and some interesting features that kind of bring together either some classic modifications or revisions from the pedal. So I'll give you a quick clip of a few of my favorite sounds and pedals in the Past Effects lineup, and then we'll hear the little track that I did for the elastic mattress. Up, another Australian builder doing amazing things, this time in the amp world, Headfirst Amplification. I've been lucky enough to demo a few original Headfirst amps, most notably the Alta, which is kind of like the ultimate modded Marshall circuit with all of the cool mods available on MIDI switches, which I think is such a cool thing out there. There's a lot of great modded Marshall style designs out there that either bake the mods in or they put them on switches. But Jason at Headfirst was, again, able to bring together some of the old and some of the new when creating the Alta. And it's been really awesome to see Headfirst continue to build and grow from essentially doing DIY PCBs here in Australia to having manufacturing here in Australia and in the USA. We interviewed Jason on the Gear podcast not too long ago. It's one of my favorite episodes. I'm just going to put up a clip of the Alta with my Eventide H3000, some Lexicon PCM 70 reverb, and of course some TC2290 delay, because it does such a great greasy 80s style brown sound. It can do modern stuff, it can do 70s rock, but I love it for this. Coming up next, what may be one of the more established builders in this list from Greece. And there's definitely something in the water in Greece. There's a lot of great bands that I've demoed on here, but my personal favorite is Crazy Tube Circuits. They make one of my favorite compressors, the Golden Ratio. They make one of my favorite delay pedals, the Time, and they make a bunch of great 2-in-1 amp in a box and drive pairings. I recently demoed the High Power, which is great for Gilmour fans. They've got things like the Unobtainium, which kind of puts a Dumble in a box together with a Klon style circuit. It's sort of in that like boutique but accessible range. They're not charging crazy prices for their pedals, but they are baking in so many great features in there, a lot of forward-looking designs, and just nice quality of life things like the soft switches. The Golden Ratio here has 3 different compression modes. A lot of their pedals will kind of take an idea, like say a Big Muff, and pair it with another circuit like a Rat, and then let you blend them together like their Motherload pedal does. And one of my favorite demos that I've done recently is this track with the Motherload. Things out, we'll talk about another Australian pedal builder, PolyFX. And PolyFX are doing some really forward-looking things, in my opinion. For example, the Josh Smith Flat 5 pedal, it's got some beautiful sounding drives and filtering, but there's no knobs. It's like the least traditional looking pedal out here. They manufacture their own touch sensitive screen on here, so you can use these sliders, kind of like a hybrid between a touchscreen synthesizer and a guitar pedal. They also just put out the Verbs pedal, which lets you load reverb IRs in this same form factor. There's some amazing sounding real spaces. There are reverb IRs from classic digital and analog reverb units, and then you can do things like load up weird reverb IRs and come up with some completely new sounds. They also make Bebo and Hector. Hector is the Eurorack version of Bebo, which essentially is an entire modular synth and guitar engine in one with a touchscreen. I've done plenty of videos with that. It's so inspiring to see someone like Lockie at Poly Effects doing things which no one else is doing in the pedal space, and pretty much doing it on their own, both from a design and manufacturing standpoint. I'm going to play you one of my favorite clips from the Verbs video that I did recently. It's using some of the weird reverb IRs, and again, it's just such a fun and creative pedal with a user interface that you kind of look at and go, there's no way I'm going to enjoy that. And you spend 5 minutes with it and you're having an absolute ball. That's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the sounds. I hope you enjoyed hopefully discovering some new inspiring pieces of gear. I'll put links to everything in the video description. They're not affiliate links, but if you do want to support my channel directly, there is a link to my Patreon, the music that I make with my band Ragdoll, and some generic affiliate shopping links in the video description. Let me know some more brands that you think are amazing that maybe no one knows about, and hopefully lots of people will know about in the future. Drop them in the comments section below, and hopefully I'll be able to check out some of them myself. Until next time, thanks for watching the video and have a great day.